Hey, how are you doing? Bill DeWeese here from voice-over-training.org. Today talking about something that I think is very important, but to be quite frank, I don't really enjoy practicing it myself, but it's so incredibly important. The power of patience. If there's one thing I've learned in my sales and marketing background in selling media, also I sold and marketed in the corporate learning space as well as for a business consulting firm here in the Chicago area. That is, when you're in a sales situation or marketing situation, patience is absolutely essential. One of the biggest things that I run across when I talk to people who are trying to grow their voiceover business is that they simply give up before they achieve any kind of momentum or ultimately the success that they want to have. So, for instance, I'll say, how long have you been marketing to video production companies, or how long have you been searching for audio production companies that specialize in voiceover work to put you on their roster? And oftentimes the conversation will then go, well, I tried that for a few weeks or for a month or maybe even a couple months, and it just didn't work out. So I got frustrated and I quit. I got frustrated and I quit is perhaps the phrase I hear more than any other in describing the marketing efforts of those in the voiceover business. And I absolutely understand that because I also become frustrated, but I don't quit. And that's something I learned early on in my sales and marketing career, is that once you have a legitimate plan, and perhaps you don't have confidence in your plan, and that can be a legitimate concern. You need to know that what you're doing is ultimately going to work. But once you have that plan together, you have to continue to execute it day by day, week by week, and month by month. And let me give you an example. Today, something came up that proves this. Now, I have frequently said that you can build a pretty substantial income fairly quickly. And when I say quickly, I don't mean overnight. I'm talking like a year to year and a half. If you put in concentrated effort doing the right kinds of things over that period of time, you can grow a full-time voiceover income. But sometimes things don't happen that quickly. Let me give you an example. There is a very good and excellent audio production company that works with high-end corporate clients that I submitted a demo to, probably 4 years ago, because this is the kind of company that I like to have in my portfolio of clients that I do work with. Well, I didn't hear anything immediately from them, so I continued to follow up, and then approximately a year after my initial contact with them, they put me on their voice talent roster. I was very excited because a lot of their talent work quite a bit and actually make a pretty good income just from this one client alone. But it wasn't until today, 4 years after my initial contact, 3 years after being put on their roster, that I was actually called for my first audition for this company. Now, is this the norm? No, it's not the norm. Normally, I hear much quicker than this. This is the slowest example that I can think of any client that I've ever, or potential client that I've ever worked with. But I know that the payoff could be huge with these guys because they have 3 or 4 talent that they book 2, 3, 4 days a week doing big corporate jobs. So to get on their roster requires and is worth the ongoing effort and communication. So I say, and by the way, I mean, this was an audition. I haven't even been guaranteed any work yet. But now that I've actually done work with one of their engineers, this was an ISDN session, and they know what I'm like to work with. And I always like my odds in an audition like this, because I know where my strengths are at, and I think this particular job lies within my sweet spot. You just have to hang in there, and some clients and jobs are worth it. So don't get frustrated. You may not hear back immediately. You may not hear back in 6 months. You may not hear back in a year or 2 or 3, or it may take you 4 years. But you hang with it because it does pay off in the end. Don't give up before you reach the success that you want and that you deserve in your voiceover business. Hey, for more information that will help to encourage you and hopefully inspire you, but most importantly, equip you to build your voiceover business, visit voice-over-training.org, and I invite you to download my free program, 7 Keys to a Six-Figure Voiceover Business. Hopefully, it will give you some insights. It will give you some insights and some tips, and some strategies that will help propel your voiceover business forward. Thanks again for stopping by, and I look forward to talking to you again very soon.